Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome for today's discussion. Everybody at home? Okay, I think we better start now. Vaishnava Kamala, Saki Champaka Mataji, Vaishnava Kripa Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so today let me set up the thing. All right, so let's start our today's program. Right, let's do our invocation. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadakam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sakarjadam Shahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savaduta Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vidamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasa Chadesatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhana Vidvidayataye Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Viknana Daine Prabhu Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktira Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Pasitanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambra Sambodhe Padam Bhujayate Nama Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Rayate Gaura Virbhava Bhume Stamni Dasa Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarubhauma Sri Jagannatayate Namaha Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyacha Paditaram Pavinibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Om Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Garutisi Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavadaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Sri Vrishabhanustiri Vipranamami Hari Priye Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nangayate Girim Yatkrupa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Jataka Swami Niti Namini Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayini Gaurakada Damadaya Nagara Gramatarini Hari Om Tatsat Hare Krishna. So today we have gathered here to continue our discussion on chapter 42, Nectar of Devotion, under the title Fraternal Loving Affairs. Just to recap, what is fraternal means? The fraternal means a permanent situation. Okay, a person who is a devotee who is permanently situated in devotional service. All right, fraternal means a devotee who are permanently situated in devotional service. What they call and by different symptoms of ecstasy. Okay, he has different symptoms of ecstasy. He developed and matured in fraternal mellow of flavor. Okay, relationship with the Supreme Personality, and this feeling is called fraternal love of Godhead. All right, again, it's a permanently situated in devotional service through different ecstasy and developed a flavor. All right, they start to have a flavor. So it's such a beautiful topic that we are discussing about fraternal love. Okay, so we first started off with Sakka, right? That means how Krishna's friends develop that fraternal love. And here in 42, we are in chapter 42, we are talking about fraternal loving affairs, all right? Loving affairs in the sense of friendship. Krishna's loving affairs with his what they call with his Gopals or Gopas, and also with with all his intimate friends in Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, we are discussing on Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, so there's a lot of things we have read here. So now we are still discussing on this. Now we are going to go and discuss about Pandava, right? Okay. Now let's look at this. Prema yata. Prema yata. Bhavat. Okay, now we are at the page 335. Huh? Prema yata. Okay. Bhavati. Bhavati. Bhavatiyudayatishvare. Suhirdi Hanta Rajya Chutir. Mukunda Vasatir Vane Paragrihe. Chadasya Kriya. Eyang Sputam. Amangala Bhavatu Pandavanam Gatihi. Parantu Vavirdi Tvai Dvigunam Eva Sankhya Mritam. So now, when Pandavas were banished by Duryodhana, right? So we all know the story here. Yeah? The Pandava has been banished, Duryodhana, to the forest and forced to live incognito in the forest. All right? Do you know what is that? You know what is the incognito? One should not trace, okay, where they are staying. Okay, do you know what is the story or not? Anyone? If you know, we won't discuss. If you know, if you don't know, I will explain.
We know, bro.
You know, eh?
I know, bro.
Okay. Others, I assume everybody knows. Kandarajan Prabhu, do you know this story? I think he may not know.
I know, Prabhu.
You know, okay. Kandarajan Prabhu and Karpiya Saras Mataji, do you know what does this mean?
Not very sure, Prabhu.
Okay, right. Okay, this is a story. You know, when Pandavas were banished to forest, how long they've been sent for exile? Pandavas were in exile for how long? How many years?
14.
14 years, right? So the deal is like this. They say, you go on exile. Duryodhana says, okay, all of you get out. Go to the forest for exile. Okay, they accept the deal. They went into exile. Then after that, Duryodhana said, look here. 13 years exile. 1 year incognito. Incognito means no one can recognize you. Right? No one can able to recognize you. In other words, if at all someone discover you, you have to add another 14 years exile. So that 1 year, all of you cannot be recognized. Right? So that's when a lot of things happen in Mahabharata, where Pandava became, Arjuna acted like who? What was Arjuna's role? Anyone?
Pondan. Dancing teacher.
மகளோட டான்ஸ் டீச்சர்.
Yeah, அது இருக்கு. மகளோட ராஜாவோட the king's daughter's dance teacher. But who was he? He became a eunuch.
Shin.
Become eunuch. In English, it's nicely said eunuch. But of course, in Malay, we call pondan. So, he became like a pondan, right? Or eunuch. So, Arjuna became a eunuch. Bhima became the one who takes care of the cow, the elephant, I think, right? The one takes care of the animal. Like that, they all went into hiding.
பீமா
Right?
குக்கிங் பிரபு குக்கிங் செஞ்சாரு.
யாரு?
பீமா வந்து in the kitchen. He is the one invented the அவியல்.
Cook.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, அவர் தான் அவியல் கண்டுபிடிச்சாரு.
Then who is the one who took care of the cow, the animals?
நகுலா பிரபு.
Okay, Sahadeva Nagula. Okay. Well, something new I heard. Because all the while I thought he's the one because he's very strong and Herculean. He could able to handle the animal. Oh, right. Aviyal, huh? He invented Aviyal. Okay, nice. Thank you for the new information. So like that. So that means he lived in India. Okay, now when Pandavas were banished by Duryodhana and forced to live incognito, that means Marai Mugama, that cannot be identified, right? In the forest, no one could trace out where they were staying. No one can find out because he sent all the spies to go and look for them. At that time, the great sage Narada met Lord Krishna and said, my dear Mukunda, although you are the supreme personality of Godhead and all-powerful person, by making friendship with you, the Pandavas have become bereft of their legitimate right to the kingdom of the world. And moreover, they are now living in the forest incognito. Sometimes they must work as ordinary laborer in someone else's house. These symptoms appear to be very inauspicious materially. All right. So, like sometimes they say, oh, why? When Krishna is there with his Pandavas, and yet Pandavas went through so much of hardship. So materially or logically, you say, hey, this doesn't make sense, right? Just imagine if you're very close to the king and you live like a pauper, it doesn't make sense. And you are a poor man when your king is your best friend, right? So then Narada Muni is telling, these can appear as inauspicious materially. But the beauty is that the Pandavas have not lost their faith in your love or for you. This is a very important. We are some or other going through so much of trouble, right? We are going through so much of what Pandava went through is even terrible. What we are going through is actually nothing. Pandava is bereft of what? Legitimate right. Their right to rule, right? And also to the kingdom of the world. Right to rule the kingdom of the world. And moreover, and the worst thing, they lost their kingdom. They lost their wealth, their name, fame, all right, honor. Everything's gone. And after that, the worst thing, they're living in the forest incognito. That's the worst thing. அதாவது தமிழ்ல தலைமறைவா வாழ்றது, தலைமறைவு, right? Living, you're hiding yourself, right? Then sometimes they must work like an ordinary laborer. They work like an ordinary laborer in someone else's house. Look at that. For a king who was supposed to rule the world, first they lost the kingdom. Then they are living in incognito, right? Like hiding, right? Hiding or in Talimaravu. Then after that, they also have to work like ordinary laborers in someone else's house. They have to act like a eunuch, and they have to cook and all this kind of menial labor job, right? So when you look at this, all these maybe appear very inauspicious materially. How can we relate out to our life? So sometimes when a devotee goes through this kind of hardship, okay, what Arjuna went is even worse. All right. So now from us being grumbling over our problem and our trouble, what we should do, we should see what did Pandavas did. Right. So now Narada Muni saying the beauty is that the Pandavas have not lost their faith. They did not lost their faith. All right. In you and their love for you. All right. It sometimes is quite common among Indians. If anything goes wrong, the first thing they go to the temple and shout at the God, shout at the Lord. Have you seen that? Right? Huh? Who are you? Are you God or stone? Huh? What did I do to you? Why you're putting me in this trouble? Right? This is quite common. So common until I also was like that before. When I lost my fortune in my business, I did the same thing. I looked at Krishna, I said, I should have worshipped Muniswaran or Muniyandi, give one goat, slaughter one goat, success and opulence will come to me. Now worshipping you, what did I get? But now I realize how wonderful Krishna has saved me. At that moment, I couldn't understand, right? Because I was thinking, where did I go wrong? No? Where did I go wrong? I did support the temple, I did support the devotion, I did all the things. End of the day, I got kicked off because Krishna got a better plan. So now Arjuna is telling, Narada is telling, look here, they have not lost faith in you and also their love for you, right? Then Narada continues, in spite of all this turbulation, right? Turbulation, like a washing machine, turbulation, huh? They are always thinking of you and chanting your names in ecstatic friendship, right? Despite all this, they are still having so much of love for you, right? Another example is acute affection for Krishna. Acute affection. What do you call acute? Vaishnava Prabhu, acute means something that cannot be cured, right? Severe, yes or no? In medical term? Severe.
Severe.
Yeah, severe, all right. So a severe affection, acute. You know, sometimes when they say the acute disease or the person got an acute cancer, that means it's so severe, extremely severe, right? So another
Prabhu,
example of
Prabhu,
Yeah.
acute means there are two phases, acute and slowly it will go away. But some acute will become chronic.
chronic. Okay.
Usually
chronic
acute can be
cured.
cured.
Yeah. Oh, acute can be cured. But the word acute means severe, yes?
If it goes for a long time, it's a chronic.
Right. But acute means severe, yes?
Severe.
Okay. Now, so the acute affection, the severe affection for Krishna is given in the 10th canto, 15th chapter, verse 18, Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, in the pasturing ground, Krishna felt a little tired. Okay. And wanted to take rest, so he lay down on the ground. At that time, many cowherd boys assembled there with great affection and began to sing suitable songs so that Krishna would rest very nicely. So, Anyetat Anurupani, Manonyani, Mahatmanaha, Gayanti Sma Maharaja Sneha, Klimna Diya Shanahi. That means what? He was singing. They were singing the song. That means what? They're singing Talat. Rockabye baby on the treetop. Of course, we don't sing that. But they were singing lullaby. They were singing lullaby so that Krishna could really nicely rest. Right? Now, there's a nice example in the friendship between Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So, when the fighting was going on, Ashwatthama, or the son of Dronacharya, unceremoniously attacked Krishna. Unceremoniously, right? Attack Krishna. Although, according to the prevailing rules, according to the rules that are available, chivalry's one's chariot driver should never be attacked by the enemy. All right. So that means there's one rules of chivalry or the warrior. Chivalry means warrior. All right. In that rules of warrior, one cannot attack chariot driver. All right. So when they attack, they only can attack the person behind. So even the chariot driver is riding left, right, here and there. Even how skillful he is, you cannot attack the driver. That's the rules, Vedic rules, right? So you cannot attack the driver. So what did Ashwatthama did? He attacked the driver, right? So attack the driver in the sense, Krishna was the driver for Arjuna. So Ashwatthama behaved heinously in so many ways that he did not hesitate to attack Krishna's body. Although Krishna was acting only as charioteer for Arjuna. When Arjuna saw that Ashwatthama was releasing various kind of arrows to hurt Krishna, he immediately stood in front of Krishna, intercept all of them. From behind, he came in front to intercept. At that time, although Arjuna was being harmed by those arrows, he felt ecstatic love for Krishna. And the arrows appeared to him like a shower of flowers. Okay. There's another instance of ecstatic love for Krishna in friendship. Okay. In friendship. Once, when a cowherd boy was named Vrishabha, okay, was collecting flower from the forest to prepare garland to be offered to Krishna. The sun reached zenith. Although the sunshine was scorching hot. Okay, what does it mean? Sun reached the zenith? It came to the middle, all right? That means it's nadu summer. No, it's like, it's a noon, it's very hot. Okay, the sunshine was scorching hot. Vrishabha felt to be like, okay, but Vrishabha, what he felt it to be like a moonshine, right? He never got affected by the scorching sun. This is the way of rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. So when the Lord devotees are put into great difficulties, even like the Pandavas are described above, they feel their miserable condition are great facility to serve the Lord. How can we relate this in our life? Right? Now, in devotional service, we are also going through so much of struggle. Okay, so much of emotional pain, trauma, right? Sometimes we get frustrated, all right? Sometimes we get fed up, this thing. But now we should take this for example. Even when Krishna was present right in front of Arjuna, Arjuna also did go through that. So, the more the trouble a person goes through, the more the glorious the person will be. Why Mandela is remembered in history, right? What Mandela went through, his horrifying experience. He went through so much of trouble. The wife that he believed divorced him. He was in the jail. He went through such a hell of a time. But after that, the history remembers him, right? Like that, you see, there's so many people out there, even in this material life, we understand. The more the trouble a person goes through, all right, the more the person will be very strong and successful. In order to have a strong body, you have to punish your body with severe exercise. You need to take the dumbbell and start to exercise, even though it's so painful, right? Even when everybody starts, you have to run, 20, 30 miles, 20 kilometers a day at least, the boxers, right? They have to run. They start running at 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock in the morning. They run marathon. They have to put their body in such a great pain so that they can be very strong. Similarly, when we are going through struggle, when we are going through challenges, we should remember Krishna is making us to become strong. If you are not a devotee, the Maya Devi has the whole world to teach you. She has the whole world to teach you. Example, like for instance, the Australian attack, the three mode of material nature, the three klesha, the threefold suffering from the mind, suffering from the fellow human being, and suffering from the nature. So you have the whole world to teach you. Suffering from fellow human being, the shooting in Bondi Beach, Australia. 18 people were killed. Then you see the war. Then you see the fight. Then you see theft. Then you see murder. Nowadays you see in Malaysia, there's a lot of gunshot murder. Gunshot. Right? People are assassination is happening quite common in this country. Right? We see the young student can kill a fellow student. So all these things give us trouble, give us so much of anxiety. Until in my children's school, the parents don't want to send the children to school. They want to have assurance. And now the school, especially in my son's school, really fantastic. Right? He's in a private, you see, he went in, he have to like going through a what they call airport checkpoint. They have to put the bag in one place. They have to put the hand like this. They got the thing, detector. Ting. That day I went and went for to collect report. I was so shocked. I said, "What's happening?" Oh, checking whether they got something or not. Check everything. Check the bag. They open up everything. They check. Then we can enter the class. Anxiety, right? Then varieties of disease. Either we experience or we see other people experience. Right? Then the nature. Now you see now it's a rainy season. There's some places are terribly flooding, right? Disaster and all these kind of things happening. And the politics, a lot of things. So Maya has the whole world to some or other put in anxiety. But once we become a devotee, how can you be going through this kind of threefold miseries? We cannot escape the threefold miseries. The misery for a fellow human being, the misery from the mind, and the misery from the nature. We cannot escape. It's part of the deal, right? In the jail, you have to sit behind the bar. That's it. Whether you're in the royal jail or you're a dungeon, you are still behind the bar, right? So behind the bar is the standard thing. Even though whether you can be comfortable or you're going to be very uncomfortable. So here, the thing that we are going through as a devotee is through our fellow devotees, right? But there is a big difference. What is the big difference? Just like how Vrishabha, when he see the sun at the scorching heat, but he feel like, right? But he feels like as though he's in the, where is it? Sunshine? But he feel like it's a moonshine, right? Why? So even in that suffering, the suffering was a pleasure because he's serving Krishna. When we are serving Krishna, when we are serving in the temple, when something happened like this, right? We take it in the sense, yes, I am positively growing, right? I'm positively growing. The goal you have to burn and heat in order to shape it. So Krishna is shaping me. And you know, best thing, he's shaping me through a devotee. Through a devotee is much better than getting the whole world to shape you. You know, it's even more terrible. That's thing. And secondly, of course, also to find out, do I have any anarthas, unwanted nonsense in my heart? How to find out whether you have anarthas? You have to do it through what they call, in other words, the audit. No, it takes a person to audit. That means to say, like, if you're a doctor, if you're a pharmacist, only you can go and audit another pharmacy. Right? If you're someone else, you cannot go and audit because you don't know what is happening there. Similarly, only a devotee can. So when we are under trouble, we should remember we are getting audited. Now, in that audit report comes out, yes, Padita Tarna, you still have your anartha. You still have your anger. You still have your lust. You still have your envy. So, oh, I still have that. Oh my God. So it takes a person to churn you out. Then you try to rectify. So we understand from these verse that even the Pandavas feel the miserable condition, right? They feel all their miserable condition to be a great facility. All the miserable conditions a great facility for what? Serving the Lord. All right. So as we are going deeply and deeply and deeply into this sadhan bhakti or this devotional service, now we are getting more and more matured. So what will happen? Tolerance. Tolerance out of not, because some people tolerate when they become disabled. Oh, I cannot go and fight against these people, right? Because I'm invalid. Already, why are you going to fight these people? I tell her whatever. But you are tolerating in frustration, right? So sometimes when what they call, when they trigger you, you're tolerating, thinking one day you get it from me, right? Tolerating in what they call in preparation. But when we become a devotee, when we all are trying to become a pure devotee, how we tolerate? We tolerate with great ecstasy. When someone come and say, Padita Tarna, you're first class fool. Oh, thank you so much. But don't do that in front of him. It also can be very cunning attitude or sarcasm. But deep in your heart, you just think, oh dear Krishna, thank you. Yes. Right? This is a facility Krishna is giving us. So all these things we can understand and learn from this story. Another instance of Arjuna's friendship with Krishna was described by Narada, who reminded Krishna, when Arjuna was learning the art of shooting arrow, he could not see you, he could not see you for so many days. Okay, he could not see you for so long. So when you arrived there, he stopped all his activity and immediately embraced you. Right? This means that even though Arjuna was engaged in learning about military art, he had not forgotten Krishna for a moment. As soon as there was an opportunity to see Krishna, Arjuna immediately embraced him. Right? So this is the thing. Say, like, if we are working, we are engaged in some other things, but our mind should be very anxious. When can I go and see Krishna? When can I take the beats and get connected to Krishna? When can I go and do my arati? When can I go and see the deities? All right. When can I take the Srimad Bhagavatam and start reading it? Okay. When is my Srimad Bhagavatam? So what I suggest, my dear Prabhus and mothers, this is only my suggestion. My suggestion. All right. It is not a mandatory, or I'm not giving any instruction. I'm not giving any opinion also. I'm just giving suggestion. What is suggestion means? You take it if you think it's suitable. You drop it if it's not suitable. All right. So my suggestion is, put your commitment into these two things. Whenever we are engaged in work, whenever we are engaged in, say, we're going to work, we are doing, even though we are working, we must create that kind of, what they call, anxiety, or the kind of hankering to to do these two things. Right? What is the two things? Studying Srimad Bhagavatam and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. These two things supposed to be your ultimate goal in your daily sadhana. All right? I spoke to Bhakti Brahat Bhagavata Maharaj. I said, so Maharaj, deity worship or Harinam Japa, which is important? He said both is important. Yes. But which is very important? If I were to choose either one, which I should use? Chanting. So deity worship, not important. Right? So we have a deity in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And we have a contact number to communicate to Krishna through the Japa Mala. So that's the two things we should always must be very eager. So upon we complete our task, our job, once we return home, first thing, immediately take the Bhagavatam and embrace Bhagavatam. First thing is to immediately take the Japa Mala and embrace, take the Japa in your heart. Oh, yes, I love you, Japa Mala. All right? Start to have. Because only these two things is definitely going to take you back home, back to God. Right? Because anarthas, of course, deity worship, all this, but those people who are in Brahmanical quality or in the temple, let them have it, no problem. But our anxiety, our this thing is, when will I have my, even while you're working? All right, I hope that time flies so that I could immediately go back and embrace my Bhagavatam and relish my Japa. All right. So that's something which I was thinking, I'm inspired to share with you. But of course, I am not saying something you're going to change your lifestyle. But I'm just saying, why not we try this next year? Because this is what I'm planning to do it. I'm just giving my, because just now I was sitting down and doing my New Year plan, resolution, what I should do. One servant of Krishna named Patri once addressed him this way. Who Patri addressed Krishna in this way? My dear Lord, you protected the cowherd boys from hunger of Agasura demon, and you protected them from poison effect of the Kaliya snake, and now you also saved them from fierce forest fire. Okay, but Patri is telling, but I am suffering from your separation, which is more severe than the hunger of Agasura, the poison of the lake Kaliya, and the burning of the forest fire. So why should you not protect me from pangs of separation? Right? So Patri is saying, right? You save everybody from Agasura, the snake. All right. Then you save me, save all from Kaliya, and you save them in the forest fire. But I am suffering like this. So why not you save me? Right? So why should you not protect me from this? Right? Then another friend once told Krishna, my dear enemy of Kamsa, since you have left us, the heat of separation has become extraordinary. And this heat is felt more severely when we understand that Bandi Ravana, okay, when we understand that in Bandi Ravana, you being refreshed by the waves of the cooling river, known as Banu Tanaya. Banu Tanaya means, or in other words, Radharani. The purpose is that when Krishna was engaged with Radharani, the cowherd boys headed by Subala were feeling great separation, and that was unbearable for them. All right? So now let's look at this. When Krishna was with Radharani, right? The boys don't join him. Only the gopis, the girls with him. Right? They say, you are with her. When you are engaging yourself with Radharani, we are sitting here, we start to have the kind of great separation. Then another friend addressed Krishna. My dear Krishna, O killer of Agasura, when you left Vrindavan to kill Kamsa in Mathura, all the cowherd boys became bereft of the 4 bhutas. All right? They bereft of 4 bhutas. That means bereft means they lost the 4 bhutas. The element earth, water, fire, and space. All right? Our body is made of 5 elements: air, water, ether, fire, and everything. He says, when you left for Mathura to kill Kamsa, what happened? It feels all the 4 bhutas in my body has gone. Okay, just give me a second. Right? All the 4 bhutas from body has gone. So what has gone? Elements earth, water, fire, and space. Gone. And the fifth bhuta, or the air, was flowing very rapidly within the nostrils. Very rapidly. All right? They were so immune. So when Krishna went to Mathura to kill Kamsa, all the cowherd boys became afflicted by the separation, that they almost died. When a person is dead, it is said that he has given up all the 5 elements, known as bhutas. Okay? So that means when a person, okay, is dead, right? When the person is dead, okay, in other words, what happened? He has given up the 5 elements, known as the bhutas. Okay? As the body again mixed with the 5 elements from which it has prepared. So when the person dies, whatever the 5 elements will merge back into that original element. The earth, the body will become earth, will become soil, right? The air will join the air. The ether in between the thing. Okay, the ether is here. The space goes back to the space. All right. The digestion system, digestive system, fire will merge with fire. All right. So like that, everything goes back. So now, in this case, although the 4 elements of earth, water, fire, air in it are already gone, but its remaining element is only air, was still very prominent, and it was blowing through their nostril furiously. Furiously. In other words, after Krishna left Vrindavan, the cowherd boys were so anxious about what would happen in his fight with King Kamsa. So they are so in anxiety. So what would be happening what happened if they fight King Kamsa? So what we can understand from here, right? What we can understand from this? The friends still do not recognize Krishna, the Supreme Personality. This morning I was listening to this lecture, Indra Yumna Maharaj, right? I think quoting from, I think, some Mahatmya. He said, Maya Devi, Mahamaya, went to Krishna and prayed, my dear Krishna, in Kali Yuga, everybody will be bereft from me when they become your devotee and they're going back home. You are so merciful, right? You liberate everyone. But now the question is, when will I be liberated? Who's asking? Maya is asking, Maya Devi. And Krishna says, you have your original form in the spiritual world as Yoga Maya. So you are already liberated, right? So what is that? Maya means illusion. She has to give you forgetfulness. She have to make you feel that things around you, even it is fake, to look good. Even the pain that you're facing, the pain is a pleasure. The man worked day and night like an animal, just to give a good education, good life for the children. He goes through so much of suffering so that in the future, the children will be very successful. But end of the day, you know what the father feels? Wow, I'm having so much of pleasure. Even the work that he does, just like horrible. He do such a terrible, he works so hard. And the hard work feels pleasurable. And despite after having a terrible marriage experience, broken marriage, right? The girl or the boy goes through a huge trauma. After that, after some time, they fall in love again and they get married again. Or in other words, when the mother delivers a child, it is just like a second birth for her. The hip bone, it seems, I heard, it will break away and connect back. Such a horrible pain. Right? At that moment, she says, that's it. I'm not going to have any more child. But the mother always quickly forget and prepare for her next child. So forgetting. So the Maya's job is to make you forget. But Krishna says, you are doing the same thing in spiritual world as Yoga Maya. Why we call as Yoga Maya? Let's remember this by heart. Mahamaya is the supreme illusion. Yoga Maya, yoga means what? Linking with Krishna, linking with God. So the illusion linked to God, that is called Yoga Maya. The illusion that linked to God is called Yoga Maya. So in Goloka Vrindavan, the Yoga Maya is the secretary of Krishna, and she makes them forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality. In Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, right? Krishna will be sending who to see, who to Golok, he will send someone to Gokul to deliver a message, to deliver a letter. Who is that person?
Prabhu, Uddhava.
Huh?
Uddhava.
Uddhava. Very good. Uddhava. Uddhava look like who?
Krishna.
Yes, almost like Krishna. So, Uddhava always think that he is very dear to Krishna. He brought the letter to Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda. He said, my dear Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the absolute truth. He is the absolute truth. He don't depend on anything, so something like that. So and Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda couldn't understand. What are you talking? You are saying is absolute truth? He loved to steal butter. When he get caught, he will tell a lie. Even absolute truth. What do you mean absolute truth? He's non-dependable. What do you mean? Right? He comes to me and we have mothers. She comes to me and I breastfeed him. What do you mean? He's not dependable. Right? Another thing is another term they said. Right? That one I can't recall. But that time, you know what? But he's all something. All right. At that time, Nanda Maharaj will be thinking, what are you talking? He always like to go and roll on the ground, and we have to bathe him every half an hour. You know, something like that. So, and that's when Uddhava became dumbfounded. Wow, what is this? These people looks like, I mean, this is what it feels. So they said, how can I have the what they call the same kind of ecstatic feeling? Because in Goloka, no one recognizes Krishna as the Supreme Personality. That is the job of Yoga Maya. So illusion linked to Krishna. They just don't know Krishna as a Supreme Personality. The gopis don't know Krishna as a Supreme Personality. No one remembers or understands Krishna as the Supreme Absolute Truth. Because the Yoga Maya covers the thought of Krishna being God. And that's when there is a loving reciprocation. They can fight with him. They can wrestle with him. And when you want to go and fight with Kamsa, and they're all in great anxiety. How this guy going to kill Kamsa? Such a notorious king. Right? So that's something we understand. So the Maya and Yoga Maya. So when Mahamaya went and prayed to Krishna, he says, no, you are doing my job in material, but you have original form there as Yoga Maya. Who's Yoga Maya? That is Subhadra Devi. Jagannath, Baladevi, Subhadra. Yoga Maya. Another friend once informed Krishna. He said, when one of your friends was feeling so much of separation from you, there were tears covering their lotus eyes. And so the black drones of sleep became discouraged from entering into the eyes and left the place. Look at the way Krishna, look at the way they describe.
Please repeat, Prabhu. Please repeat, Prabhu, the last.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat. So look at the way they compose these words. And look at the way Prabhupada translated into English. Now you understand, Prabhupada is superhuman. He is a great scholar. Great scholar. No one can come near to Prabhupada when translating Vedas. Great scholar, genius. Prabhupada is absolute genius. Right? Netrambuja dvandam avekshya purnam paspambu purena varuttapasya tatranuvrittim kila yadavendra nirvidya nidra madhupi mumocha nividipi nidra madhupi mumocha. Right? So now a friend informed, okay, one of your friends was feeling much separation. Okay, telling Krishna, hey, you know, one of your friends are so much in separation from you. He is so discouraged from entering, right? Sorry, not this one. Okay. So he is so much separation from you. All right, from you. There was tears covering his lotus eyes. There was a tears covering his lotus eyes. And so the black drons of sleep became discouraged from entering his eyes and left that place. Right? Now, let's look at this. When there is a lotus flower, the black drones fly into it to collect honey. Okay? The eyes of Krishna's friend are compared to the lotus flower. And because they were full of tears, the black drones of sleep could not collect honey from his lotus eye. And therefore, they left the place. Right? Okay, let's do this one by one. Okay, let me explain to you what does this mean. Right now, it's like this. Number one. Okay, Mataji, you're there?
Yes, Prabhu.
All right, okay. Now, look at this. One friend, that means a Gopa, informing Krishna. He said, when one of your friend, okay, telling Krishna, one of your friend, feeling much separation. What separation? Very much separation, strong separation. Right? Because of the separation, there was a tears, kannir. He was crying. Covered is what? Okay, the kannir is covering his lotus eyes. Why they use the word lotus? We only say Krishna has lotus feet, lotus, but lotus eye. So now another way of finding out whether they are referring to Krishna or not, how to find out whether are they referring to Krishna? Okay, how to find out? Oops, sorry. How to find out whether they're referring to Krishna or who? Right? Okay, when what they call, when they use this term, right? When you look at this, all right, when there was a covering his lotus eye. See, the H is a small h. So they are not referring to Krishna. If it's a capital H, they are referring to Krishna. If it's a small h, it is not referring to Krishna. Okay. So one friend informed Krishna, right? One friend informed Krishna, when one of your friends were feeling so much separation from you, there was a tears covering his lotus eyes. So that the black drones, what is black drone means? Black drone means laba, teni. All right, they call, what they call in English? Can it be like honeybee? Wasp, they call wasp, W-A-S-P. Terida one day, what they call in Tamil? Kolevi. Okay, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhu.
All right. So the kolevi or the black drone couldn't enter the eyes. What black drone? The drone of sleep. Tukam. The sleep cannot enter his eyes. Then what happened? The drone become discouraged from entering into his eyes. Then what he did? He left the space, left the place. That means the drone tried to enter, the colony tried to enter, the wasp tried to enter, because it's wet, okay, because he's saying he couldn't enter, then the drone, the colony left. What we understand from here? That this particular devotee, because of separation, at night he was crying that he couldn't sleep. He could not sleep. Okay. So now Prabhupada is explaining why do they use this word drawn and lotus. So the example he gave is, when there is a lotus flower, the black drones fly into it. Okay. When there's a lotus flower, okay, when there is a lotus flower, all right, when there's a lotus flower, the drone fly into it to what? To collect honey. Okay. So here we understand that here, what we understand from here is the eyes of Krishna's friend are compared to the lotus. The Krishna's friend, the eyes compared to the lotus. When it's bloom, honeybee will come. When the thing is closed, how is the thing going to come? It doesn't go, it just go away. So the eyes of friend of Krishna compared to the lotus flower, because he was the eyes were full of tears. Right? The eyes were full of tears. Okay? The eyes full of tears. And though the black drones of sleep cannot collect the honey from his lotus eye, therefore left the place. So the drone, the colony cannot enter, because என்ன கொலவி அது? தூக்க கொலவி. அது உள்ள கொஞ்சம் தூக்கம் வருது. So it couldn't enter. So it left the place. In other words, because he was so much afflicted, his eyes were full of tears that he could not sleep. This is an example of staying up at night because of separation for Krishna. Now you understand? புரிஞ்சிருச்சா மாதாஜி?
நல்லா புரியுது. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. And see how Prabhupada nicely put in a very beautiful. I mean, it's mentioned in the thing, all right? So it's mentioned here, right? So nirvidya, nidra. Nidra means sleepiness. Nidra. Madhupi, collect the honey. Madhu. Mumocha, chow, left. Right? So like that. How beautiful. Right? Alambana shunyata. Gate vrindaranya priya. So here the Gosteshvara sute. Lagu brittam sadya patat atitaram utpada api. Nahi brahmamang bhajati chattulang tulang ivame niralambam chetakvachit api vilambam lavam api. An example of helplessness is described. Helplessness. Right? Following statement. Due to Krishna's departure from Vrindavan to Mathura, Krishna's dearest cowherd boys felt mentally light as possible. They feel the brain so light. Okay? They felt as mentally light as possible. They were like a fragment of cotton, lighter than the air, and were all floating in the air without any shelter. In other words, the minds of the cowherd boys became almost vacant on account of Krishna's separation. Or in a normal term, Krishna, all the boys, they are having a tala sutthudu. Right? Or they're having a, in Malay we call pening. What they call in English? What they call in English? Light-headed, right? Is it light-headed? Huh? Vaishnava Prabhu? All right. Anyway, so they feel the head is so light as a cotton.
I'm not so sure, Prabhu.
Right? Drowsy. Right? They all felt so drowsy. They just couldn't do anything. Their head is spinning. It's as though it's floating. It's as though like blown by the wind. When the wind blow this way, the flow go this way. When the wind blow this way, they all felt extremely drowsy.
Busy, Prabhu?
Dizzy, yes, dizzy. Not drowsy, dizzy. Very dizzy. right? And see how nicely they put. When Krishna departed, the cowboy felt mentally light as possible. It's just like a fragment of cotton, lighter than the air, were all floating in the air without shelter. You see the cotton will fly here. Sometimes there's a spora, right? Certain plant, there's a spora, kind of cotton. It fly here, it flies there, it flies here, it like no aim. Don't know where it's going. Okay. That is what when they had a separation. All right. So now it's 10:08. Shall we just take a 2 minutes break? All right. We take a short break, then we continue. Hare Krishna. Let's continue the nectarian pastimes. Now, an example of impatience was also shown by cowherd boys. So now we are all studying about cowherd boys, all right? So what they call impatience. When Krishna went to Mathura out of sorrow of separation, sorrow, vedane of separation, all these boys forgot to take care of their cow herding. and tried to forget all the melodious songs they used to sing in pasturing ground. They tried to forget. At last, they had no desire to live anymore, being separated from Krishna. They have no desire to live any longer because they can't take the impatience. Sometimes, I don't know, some examples, okay, this is not a right example. So the impatience, they can't take it, a kind of frustration. Okay, give you an example. This is one of a funeral I went, which I cannot forget. It happened many, many, many years ago. When the person passed away, I think the sister or the wife or something like that. Suddenly she went into that kind of hysterical kind of situation. Like, come on, come back. I can't take it anymore. Come on, wake up. A kind of impatience. Suddenly I remembered that, right? There's a kind of impatience. And just imagine, they are separated from the Supreme Personality, right? The embodiment of love. And when they can't even a moment, they can't take the possibility that Krishna has left. And the amount of anxiety they went through, right? We can meditate on that. An example of stillness, stun, right? Described by a friend of Krishna who informed him in Mathura, all the cowherd boys had become just like a leafless tree on the top of the hills. They appeared almost naked, and being skinny and frail, they did not carry any fruits or flowers. He informed Krishna that all the cowherd boys residing in Vrindavan are still as the trees at the top of the hill. Right? They all become like still. Right? They are not maintaining. They are totally out of mind. Right? The things like all the trees without leaves. All right? Sometimes they felt diseased from the separation from Krishna. They feel so sick and so greatly disappointed. They all were aimlessly wandering on the banks of the Yamuna. They all were wandering aimlessly. All right? There is also an example of madness caused by separation from Krishna. When Krishna was absent from Vrindavan, all the cowboys became bewildered. Having given up all kinds of activities, they appeared to be mad and forget all their regular business. They were sometimes lying down on the ground, sometimes rolling on the dust, sometimes laughing, and sometimes running very swiftly. All these symptoms gave them appearance of a madman. Okay? They can't take it. All right? All in great anxiety. One friend of Krishna criticized him by saying, "My dear Lord, you have become the king of Mathura after killing Kamsa. And that is very good news for us. But at Vrindavan, all the residents have become blind from their continuous crying over your absence. Divyatiha madure madurayang prapya rajam aduna madurnate vishwam eva muditam ruditande gokuletu muhur akulatabut." They cry so much until the eyes were full of tears. They just like as though they have become blind. They can't see anything because the eyes is always covered with tears. They are full only of anxieties. They are only full of anxieties and not cheered at all by you becoming the king of Mathura. When they heard they became a king of Mathura, they were not cheering. They were just crying. When my lover will come to me? When will my Sakha will come back to me? When can I play with him? When can I dance with him? They were just thinking about that, and they will keep crying and 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 go on crying. Kamsharer viraha jvarormi janita jvalavali jarjara gopa shaila tate tata sitilita swashan kuraha sherati varam varam akarva lochana jaler aplavya Sometimes there's also a sign of death caused by the separation. Okay. There were also sign of death caused by separation from Krishna. Once Krishna was told, my dear enemy of Kamsa, because of their separation from you, the cowherd boys are suffering too much and they are now lying down on the valleys, breathing only slightly. In order to sympathize with the boys' regrettable condition, even the forest friends, the deer, are shedding tears. Even the deers and all the forest friends also shedding tears to look at the situation, that situation of dying. In the Madhura Kanda chapter of Skanda Purana, okay, what it says, Prokteyam viraha vasta spashta lila nusharata Krishnena viprayoga siyana jatu vrajavasinam. All right, vrajavasi. Tatacha skande madura kande vatsaribischa sada kridati madava vrindavanantaragata saramo balakair vritaha. There's a description of Krishna and Balaram surrounded by all the cowherd boys, always engaged in taking care of the cows and calves. When Krishna was met by Arjuna, a potter shop in the city of Drupada Nagara, when Krishna was met by Arjuna at the potter shop in the city of Drupada Nagaram, because of the similarity of their bodily features, they made intimate friendship. This is an instance of friendship caused by attraction of similar bodies, right? So this Arjuna is a Gopal, right? What the book says is that because which Arjuna is this? Okay, it's not mentioned anything here, right? Right. Now, then, in the 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam 7th chapter verse 27, it stated that when Krishna arrived in the city of Indraprastha, Bhima was so overwhelmed with joy that with tears in his eyes and a smiling face, he immediately embraced his maternal cousin. Following him were his younger brother Nagula and Sahadeva along with Arjuna. They all became so overwhelmed by seeing Krishna that with full satisfaction they embraced the Lord, who is known as Achyuta or infallible. There is a similar statement about the cowherd boys in Vrindavan. When Krishna was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, all the boys, that means when Krishna was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, all the cowherd boys came to see him, wearing jewel earrings in their ears. Becoming so greatly overjoyed, they extended their arms and embraced Krishna as their old friend. These are instances of full satisfaction in friendship with Krishna. In the 10th canto, 12th chapter, verse 12, Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that even after undergoing severe penance and austerities and performing the yogic principle, the great mystic yogi can hardly become eligible to achieve the dust of the lotus feet. Even though they perform all kind of horrible austerity, severe austerity, they can't even get the dust of the lotus feet. But at the same time, okay, by the same time, personality of God Krishna is easily available to the vision of residents in Vrindavan. This means there is no comparison to the great fortune of these devotees. Then, the friendly relationship with the cowherd boys with Krishna is particularly type of spiritual ecstasy, almost similar to the ecstasy of conjugal love. All right, now what we can understand, the ecstasy of Krishna with the boyfriends, Gopals, it is spiritual, almost similar. Almost means what? It is not similar, but it's almost there to the ecstasy of conjugal love. So when we talk about this ecstasy of love, which is the topmost? So the number one is conjugal love. Number two is Sakha, friendship love. You got it? So the ecstasy of loving affairs between cowherd boys and Krishna is very difficult to explain. Great expert devotees like Rupa Goswami express their astonishment at the inconceivable feeling that they are in Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends. It is not easy to explain. So in other words, how the conjugal love of Rasa Lila or Rasa, this thing cannot be explained. Similarly, the love of Krishna and his friends, very hard to explain. It is intense. It's eternal. It's complete. Purnam. Okay? This particular type of ecstatic love shared between Krishna and his confidential friends further develop into parental love or on form where it may develop into conjugal love. The most exalted humor or mellow in ecstatic love between Krishna and his devotees. Iti Shri Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu Paschime Vibhage Mukhya Bhakti Rasa Panchaka Nirupane Preyo Bhakti Rasa Lahari Tritiya. With this, we complete the chapter 42 or the third wave of Southern Ocean of Srimad of Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu. Right? So that means you understand. So this particular ecstatic love between Krishna and his confidential friend further develop into parental love. So now the next chapter we are going to, that is chapter 43. In 43, we are going to discuss on parental love. First, we talk about friendship with Pandava. Then we discuss about all the confidential friendship between Krishna and his friends. And now these conjugal develop into, that means these confidential friends further develop into parental love. How? That the elder friends of Krishna, they protect Krishna like a parent. All right? So it may develop into conjugal. Okay, now we are going to chapter 43. Before that, is there any questions? Parental love also is quite a long chapter. Right? Okay. Shall we continue?
Yes,
Hello?
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Can continue.
Parenthood. Okay, now we are starting the fourth wave. Southern Ocean, fourth wave. Vatsala Bhakti, Rasakya Chaturtha Lahari. Okay, we got Vatsalya Bhakti. Vibhavadyastu Vatsalyam, Stai Pushtim Upagataha. Esa Vatsala Namatra, Prokto Bhakti Raso Buddhahi. When ecstatic love develops into a relationship of parenthood. All right. So when the ecstatic love develops into the relationship of parenthood, it becomes steadily established. The relationship is called Vatsalya Rasa. Vatsalya. Right? So, Tatra Alambana, Krishnam Tasye Gurum Chatra, Prahur Alambanan Buddhaha. The exhibition of Vatsalya Rasa standard of devotional service can be found in the dealings of Krishna with his devotees, who represent themselves as superior personalities like father, mother, and teacher. Okay. Learned scholars have described these impetuses of parental love of Krishna. Who? The learned scholars. They have described, right? Existing in elderly personalities who are in relation with Krishna. Elderly personalities who are in relation with Krishna. Example, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose bodily complexion is just like a bluish new-grown lotus flower, whose body is very delicate, whose lotus eyes are surrounded by scattered hair as black as bees, was walking on the streets of Vrindavan. When Mother Yashoda, the beloved wife of Nanda Maharaj, saw him, she immediately the milk began to flow from her breast, soaking her body. Some specific provocation of parental love of Krishna are listed as his blackish body hue, which is very attractive to and pleasing to see. All his auspicious bodily features, his mildness, his sweet word, his simplicity, his shyness, his humility, his constant readiness to offer respect to the elderly, and his charity, all of these qualities are considered ecstatic provocation for parental love. Okay, it's a kind of provoke or trigger parental love. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10 Canto, 8 chapter verse 45, it is stated by Sukadev Goswami, Mother Yasoda accepted Krishna, Lord Krishna, as a son. Although he is accepted in the Vedas as the king of heaven, in the Upanishad as the impersonal Brahman, in philosophy as supreme male by the yogis, as a super soul by the devotees, as a supreme personality of Godhead, right? But for her, it's a child. Once Mother Yasoda was addressed one of her friends in this way. Mother Yasoda addressed one of her friends. Nanda Maharaj, the leader of cowherd men, and I worship Lord Vishnu. And as a result of this worship, Krishna has been saved from clutches of Putana and other demons. The twin Arjuna trees were, of course, broken due to a strong wind. And although Krishna appeared to have lifted Govardhan hill with his Balaram, I think that Nanda Maharaj actually held that mountain. Otherwise, how could it have been possible for a little boy to lift such a great hill? This is another example of ecstasy in parental love, right? So what we say, that Lord Vishnu saved Krishna from Putana. The twin Arjuna tree, right? The twin tree, Kuvera Nalakuvara, right? Manigriva, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, the two trees, you know, in Damodar Leela. So when the wood will stuck in the middle, he just pushed the both tree will fall down. So they say, no, he didn't do that. It just happened to what they call strong wind. The strong wind pushed the tree down. And when Krishna carried the Govardhan, nah, he didn't carry. My husband Nanda Maharaj carried it. All right? So like that. Because this is another example of parental love. So she cannot agree or cannot conceive the idea that my son is the Supreme Personality. This kind of parental love is generated in a devotee out of conviction in love. That he himself is superior to Krishna. That means the devotee himself is superior to Krishna, and that without being taken care by which the devotee of Krishna could not possibly live. Right? If could not be taken care by such, all right, the devotee of Krishna could not possibly. That means if by not taking care of Krishna, the devotee of Krishna cannot be possibly living. One devotee therefore prayed to the parents of Lord Krishna as follows. Okay, one devotee prayed to the parents of Lord Krishna. Let me take shelter of the elderly parental devotee of Lord Krishna. They are always anxious to serve Krishna and to maintain him. They are always so kind to him. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto them for being so kind to the Supreme Personality. So they're praying, oh, you are so nice. You took care of my Lord so nicely. Who is the parent of the whole universe. There's a similar prayer by a Brahmana who says, let others worship the Vedas and the Upanishad. And let others worship the Mahabharata if they are afraid of material existence and want to become liberated from that condition. But as far as I am concerned, I wish only to worship Maharaj Nanda. He said, I only want to worship Maharaj Nanda. Because the Supreme Absolute Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is crawling in his courtyard as his own child. Following in a list of respectful personalities, following is a list of respectful personality who enjoy parental love towards Krishna. All right, this is the list of people who enjoy the parental love of Krishna. Number 1, Yare? Mother Yashoda, the queen of Vraja. Number 2, Maharaj Nanda, the king of Vraja. Number 3, Mother Rohini, the mother of Balaram. Number 4, the elderly gopis whose sons were taken away by Lord Brahma. Number 5, Devaki. Okay, what does that mean? Let's look at that. Who is number 4? All the elderly gopis whose sons were taken away by Lord Brahma. Then what happened? Krishna appeared like the sons and went to all the mothers. When the mothers start to care for their child, actually it's not a child because the child has been kidnapped. It's Krishna. They start to have a kind of more, they think it's something different over my son. All right? Whose sons were taken away. Okay, they also had the same thing. Number 5, Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. Number 6, the other 15 wives of Vasudeva. So Vasudeva had total 16 wives. So other than his wife, what they call Devaki, the other 15 wives of Vasudeva also had that kind of parental love for Krishna. Number 7, Kunti, the mother of Arjuna. Number 8, Vasudeva, the real father of Krishna. Number 9, Sandipani Muni, Krishna's teacher. All these considered respectable elderly personalities with parental love for Krishna. This is the list in order of superior importance. This list is in order of superior importance. Thus, we can see that Mother Yashoda and Maharaj Nanda are considered to be the supermost of all the elderly personalities. So all the elderly personalities who worship Krishna, I mean, Krishna is like a parent. Mother Yashoda and Maharaj Nanda is the topmost. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10 Canto 9 chapter verse 3, Sukadeva Goswami gives Maharaj Parikshit a description of the form and beauty of Mother Yashoda. Right? Sukadeva Goswami is saying, what he says? Tatra Varjeshwari Rupam Yata Shri Dasami Shomam Vasa Prutu Kati Tate Vibrati Sutranadam Putra Sneha Snuta Kucha Yugam Jata Kampang Cha Subruhu. He says, my dear wife, my dear king, right? The white hips of Mother Yasoda. So we understand Mother Yasoda hip, Idupu, is very white, big. Was surrounded by silk and linen cloth. Right? Surrounded by silk and linen cloth. The dress she's wearing. And her breasts were flowing with milk because of her affection. Right? The breast was flowing with milk because of affection. When she was churning butter and tightly holding the rope, please visualize. When she was churning the butter and tightly holding the rope, the bangles on her hands were and the earrings of the ears were all moving. Cling, 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 cling. You know, like that? You know, the thing, bangle and the earring all moving. From the nice decoration in her hair, the flowers were slackening and falling off. She's having a flower on the hair, and when she was doing, some of the flowers slackening, that means loosening and falling off due to her excessive labor. There were drops of perspiration in her face. The face were all perspiring. There's a sweat. There is another description of Mother Yasoda in a devotee prayer. Let me be given the protection of Mother Yasoda, whose curly hair are bound with thread, whose hair is very brightly beautified by the vermilion placed in the part of whose bodily, okay, right? The vermilion placed in the part and whose bodily frames derides all her ornaments. What does that mean? All right. Let me given a protection by Mother Yasoda, whose curly hair are bound by thread. That means they tie the thing, they hold, they tie the thing. They don't, at that time, they don't have rubber band. So they take the thing by the thread, whose hair is brightly beautiful by the vermilion placed in the part. In the part. What does that mean? The ladies who are married, they usually take the middle parting. They comb the hair like this. So the hair is parted and they put the vermilion or the kungumam in the middle. So they put the kungumam from here, zoop here. So it is also mentioned in Bhagavatam, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I remember reading, the married woman must always take a middle parting. They take the middle parting and they must decorate the middle parting full with vermilion or kungumam. Okay. Dori Juttila Vakrakesha Patala Sindura, right? Kungumam, right? Bindulasa. Shimanta Dyutir Anga Bhusana Vidim Nati Prabhutam Shrita Govindasya Nishirta Sastru Nayana Dvandva Navindivara Shama Ruchir Vichitra Visichaya Gotishwari Patuvaha. Right? So like that, it's very important. And also the married woman must always keep flower on their hair. They must have always have flower. All right. And of course, Kungumam must be, they shouldn't take a side parting. They always must take middle parting. Right. The bodily frame derides all the ornaments. All right. Her eyes are always engaged in seeing the face of Krishna. And thus they were always filled with tears. Her complexion, which resembles a bluish lotus flower, is enhanced in beauty of dressing herself with many colorful garments. Very important, this thing. What it says? All right. Her eyes are always engaged in the face seeing Krishna, and thus they were always filled with tears. Her complexion, what is Mother Yasoda's body color? Mother Yasoda's body color resembles the bluish lotus flower. So that means she is not fair. She is something dark and a kind of fair, and the complexion looks like a bluish lotus flower. And that is enhanced with the beauty of a dressing. Now the question is, there's one photo of Krishna, there's a famous photo, Srimati, what they call Yashoda, holding Krishna. The baby photo, holding Krishna. Just like a portrait they drawn. But there, Mother Yashoda looked very fair. Do you all understand what I'm saying? Have you seen the photo?
Yes, Prabhu.
So now, that when the Mataji, what's the name? What's the artist? ISKCON artist? What's the name? When she was drawing, Prabhupada gave the what? The description. No, she looked like this, the baby looked like this, and through the description she drawn. But the thing is, when it was drawn, she looks fair, yellowish, whitish. Why? Is there something wrong with that? Do you understand my question? Come on, let's participate.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Why? I think they made a mistake, is it?
Everybody many people don't like the black color, Prabhu.
No, that's not a reason. That is only the South Indian movie like that. They like to have fair girls to act.
No, Prabhu, in many articles, Prabhu, they say that we like to see fair color. We don't like to see the black. No.
Then they should put Krishna white.
Even Draupadi and all that, Vyasadeva and all are black in color, Prabhu.
Yeah. No, but why this particular reason? Why did Mother Yasoda? Because it was given a direct instruction by Prabhupada and they drawn in that way.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Right. This is a beautiful Leela. Yes, Saki Mataji? Yeah, come on. speak.
நான் ஜஸ்ட் ஸ்பெகுலேட் தான் பண்றேன் பிரபு. கிருஷ்ணாவோட அம்மானால கிருஷ்ணா மாதிரி தானே பிரபு அவங்க இருப்பாங்க கலரு. இல்லையா?
ஏன்னா அவங்க பத்தாமாலியே.
பட் பாகவதம்ல கிருஷ்ணா அவங்களுக்கும் கிருஷ்ணா பிறந்தாருன்னு போட்டிருக்கு.
சரி இருந்தாலும் ஆனா இப்ப இதுல ப்ளூ கலர் போட்டிருக்க.
ஏ
கருநீலம். கருநீலம்.
Oh, sorry, no idea, Prabhu.
Okay. There's one Acharya, right? One of Prabhupada's god brother, and he was commenting. And I felt, I don't know how to express my feelings. Amazing. You know that photo? You know what is that photo when Krishna was like having that color, carrying the thing? Krishna and Mother Yasoda that time went to visit Srimati Radharani as a baby. Radharani doesn't want to open the eyes, yes? Until see Krishna. Kelipattingla? Have you heard about it? Do you know when Radharani born, she doesn't want to see anybody except Krishna?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
So that time, both of them went to see the baby, Radharani. Upon seeing the child, Mother Yasoda's complexion started to change into white. You got it?
Yeah.
So that is the thing that Prabhupada envisioned. And imagine Srila Prabhupada. Who is he actually? He draw the thing envision. Because that Acharya was telling, you know why Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj did that? Because he took Krishna and went and saw the complexion change. Right? These are great Acharyas. They are there. They can see, visualize. They can see really how that they are transforming. Amazing. Truly amazing. Suddenly I remember, right? So now resembles a this thing, okay? Now that enhanced with the this thing herself with many colorful garments. Okay, now Let a merciful glance fall on all of us so that we may be protected from the clutches of Maya. Then smoothly progress in our devotional service. There is the following description of Mother Yashoda in affection for Krishna. After rising early in the morning, Mother Yashoda first of all offered a breast milk to Krishna. Then she began to chant various mantras for his protection. She chanted all the mantra to protect Krishna. Then she would decorate his forehead very nicely and tie protective talisman on his arm. Tayatta kattuvaanga kaila. Now take the thing, talisman, tayathu. They tie. You know the thing that Narashima Kavacha? Tie on the hand. And by all these activities, it is definitely understood that she is the emblem of all material affection. All maternal affection for Krishna. The description of Nanda Maharaj bodily features as follows. Nanda Maharaj, how the Nanda Maharaj body looks like. The hair on his head are generally black, but some of them are gray. His garments are greenish color, like the newly grown leaves of a banyan tree. All right. His belly is fatty. His belly is fatty. He had a belly. His complexion exactly like the full moon. And he has a beautiful mustache. That means Nanda Maharaj has a mustache. Misa. Can you all imagine that? Wow. We are going now. You know why I feel excited? We are going to go deep into Vatsalya Ras. Vatsalyam yata avalambya karangulim nijam scarlet angri prasarantam angani urasi shravat ashru nirjaro umude prekshya sutam prajadipa. When Krishna was a baby, one day he was walking in the courtyard, capturing the finger of his father, and because he could not walk steadily, he was holding the finger and he's trying to walk, a child, baby. He appeared to be almost like falling down. While Nanda Maharaj was giving protection to his transcendental son in this way, all of a sudden, there was a drop of tears in his eyes. When he started to hold the boy, there's a drop of tears came from his eyes, Nanda Maharaj. And he became overwhelmed with joy. Let us all offer our respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of King Nanda. Avalambya karangulim nijam, scarlet angri prasarantam angani, urasi sravat ashru nirjaro, mude prekshya sutam vrajadipa. Ada atta udippana, kaumaradi vayorupa, vesha shaivas saishava chapalam, jalpita smiti liladya, udder udippana smriti, kaumara. All right, now we're going to talk about kaumara. Childhood age, childish dress, movement by the child, sweet words spoken by the child, nice smiling and various form of childish play, all considered provocation for increasing the parental love for Krishna. So all these things in Kaumara, all the childhood age. All right, Vayu na Vaisi. Vayu Rupa. Sorry, what is the Vayu Rupa Vesha? That's the one, but not Vaisa. Okay, Kaumara, Vayu Rupa Vesha. Okay, I don't remember. Anyway, so like that. So this kind of childhood pastimes actually what it provoke the increase of parental love, make the parental love even while blissing, right? Now, the childhood age of Krishna are divided into 3 periods. Okay, we have spoke about it before. Now we're going to go back into that. Now, no, Kaumara we didn't discuss, right? We have Paungada and another one is Kaishora. The beginning of Kaumara age the middle of the Kaumara and the end of Kaumara. So now, during the beginning of the middle of Kaumara age, the beginning and the middle, that means he's a Kaumara is until what, 3 years old, right? Okay, so beginning and the middle, the Kaumara age, Krishna's thigh are fatty. He got a big thigh. Just imagine having a big tode. And the inner part of his eyes are whitish. There are signs of teeth coming out. Oh God. Yeah. And you see there's some, have you seen like a baby? The teeth start coming out. And he's very mild and gentle. Tri Chatura Dashana Spuran Mukindum Pruthutara Madhya Kati Rakoru Sima Navakuvalaya Komala Kumaro Mudam Adikam Rajo Natayor Vyatanid. He is described as follows. When Krishna had only 3 or 4 teeth coming out, 3 or 4 teeth, the baby teeth. His gums, right? His gums, okay? His gums, his thighs were fatty. Then we got a big gums and the thighs were fatty. His body was very, very short. His body, very, very short. And he began to enhance the parental love for Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yashoda, with the activities of his childish body. He was sometimes stepping with his legs again and again. Stepping with his legs again and again. Sometimes crying, stepping in the leg. The baby moved the leg. Sometimes crying. Sometimes smiling. Sometimes sucking his thumb. Sometimes lying down flat. There are some of the different activities of the child Krishna. When Krishna was lying down flat, sometimes sucking the toes of his feet. Take the toes and they suck. Baby like to suck the toes. Right? Do you know what is the popular belief by the elderly ladies when the child starts to suck the thumb?
தெரியும்
the toes?
பிரபு.
Huh?
செகண்ட் பிள்ளை பிறக்கும்போது சொல்லுவாங்க.
அதேதான். My first one did that, my second one did that, my third one did that. But my fourth child didn't do that. I say, yo, that's it. Okay. So, sucking his feet. Sometimes throwing up his legs upwards. Sometimes you see the child, like to, sometimes crying and sometimes smiling. Mother Yashoda, seeing a son in such pastime, did not show any sign of restricting him, but rather began to watch a child with eagerness, enjoying these childhood pastimes. In the beginning of Krishna's Kaumara age, the nails of tiger were set in a golden necklace about his neck. Puli nagam. For the child, they put a puli nagam, right? You all have anyone got that puli nagam? Anyone of you got?
என்ன பிரபு கேட்டீங்க? வழங்கல பிரபு.
Puli nagam இருக்கா? Puli nagam.
ஓ இல்ல பிரபு.
இல்லையா?
குருமரஸ் வச்சிருக்காரு.
Yeah, I have one. This thing I had once, but mine I don't know where I lost it. There's the fingernail of a tiger. It's a kind of this. So they put it this way both, right? I wonder where's mine gone. I remember. Okay, anyway. So there's a golden necklace about his neck, nails of tiger. There were protective tilak on his forehead, black mascara around his eyes. Can you imagine when you dress up the child with a mascara, black mascara, and silk thread around his waist? There is a description of Krishna's dress in the beginning of Kaumara age. When Nanda Maharaj saw the beauty of child Krishna with tiger nails on his chest, a complexion like a new grown tamala tree, beautifully decorated tilak made with cow's urine, arms with decoration with nice silk thread, the silk cloth tied around his waist. When Nanda Maharaj saw this child like this, he never became satiated by the child's beauty. Satiated means what? அந்த அழகை கண்டு ரசிச்சு சலிக்கவே இல்லை. That means he never got tired staring at the beauty of the child. In the middle age, Kaumara age, what happened? The upper portion of Krishna's hair fall from his eyes, around his eyes. That means the hair grown up, the thing is like falling around his eyes. Sometimes he's covered with cloth around the lower part of his body. Sometimes he's completely naked. Sometimes he tried to walk, taking step by step. Sometimes he talks very sweetly in broken language. Amma, Asha, this kind of beautiful language. These some symptoms of the middle Kaumara age. Then he does describe in Mother Yasoda. He is thus described when Mother Yasoda once saw him in the middle Kaumara age. His scattered hair was touching his eyebrows. His eyes were restless, but he could not express his feeling in proper words. Still, when he was talking, he talked so nice and sweet to hear. When Mother Yashoda looked at his little ears, saw him naked, trying to run very quickly with his little legs, she was merged into the ocean of nectar. Krishna's ornament at this age are pearl hanging from the septum of his nose. Krishna's ornament at this age, the pearl hanging from the septum of his nose. What is septum means, Prabhu? Vaishnava Prabhu, what is septum?
The divider, the dividing area.
Oh, the no. Oh, okay. The middle part lah.
Yeah.
So Krishna's ornament at this age were pearl hanging from the septum of his nose. That means, what does it mean? How the pearl hanging? I mean, they put the mukuti, is it?
Yeah, they put a hole, bro.
But not to the child like this. They do that.
They do, bro. Even
okay,
like
okay.
just like a bull, no, bro.
Yeah, I understand. So they put a hole and put a pearl.
Yeah,
Wow.
but as they grow, it closes by itself.
Ah.
Even a ear prick, if you don't
Yeah.
hear a earring for a long time, the thing will close up. Bro.
Yes. Oh, that means in Krishna time they put a earring and also the nose like this. So they
Yeah,
put like this. They put a
mukuti.
pearl. Mukuti. Ah. I understand. Wow. Okay, a pearl hanging from the septum of his nose, butter on his lotus-like palms. Okay. And some small bells around his waist. They put like a bell around his waist. It is stated when the mother Yashoda saw this child was moving, ringing the bells on his waist, smiling at her with pearls between his nostrils. With a pearl within the nostrils, with butter on his hands. That means he was having a butter in his hands. She became wonderfully pleased to see little child in that fashion. While Krishna was in the middle of his Kaumara age, his waist became thinner, his chest became broader, his head was decorated with curly hair hanging down and resembling to the falling of the wings of the crow. Right? So that means his head was decorated with his curly hair hanging down and resembling like falling of a wing of a crow. You know, the crow, when the wing fell, also that means it looks like the crow wing. Oh, okay, wing. These wonderful features of Krishna body never failed to astonish Mother Yashoda. At the end, Kaumara age, Krishna carried a small stick in his hand. His clothing were as a little longer. He had a knot around his waist and resembled to the hood of a snake. In that dress, he used to take care of the calves near the house. Sometimes he played with the cowherd boys about the same age. He had a slender flute, a buffalo horn bugle, and sometimes he played on a flute made from the leaves of a tree. The flute made of the leaf of the tree. There are some of the symptoms at the end of Krishna's. These are some of the symptoms at the end of Krishna's Kaumara age. Wow. Wow, this one we can just simply go on. But now it's 10:58. So we continue tomorrow. So we are at what page now? When Krishna was a little grown up.
கொஞ்சம் முடியாதா பிரபு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா?
கொஞ்சம் முடியாத எக்ஸ்ட்ரா. என்ன மாதிரி சொன்னீங்க?
இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் இல்ல தெரியல மத்தவங்களாம் தெரியல. கொஞ்சம் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா முடியுமா பிரபு? ஒரு 15 minutes.
Cannot stop, huh?
நல்லா
Right.
இருக்கு.
Do another one or two paragraph. இல்ல ஏன்னா I have to do offering, then I have to send food for my son. Anyway, okay. This is very nice. Sikanda krita sekara pana patintatat. Karaicha lagum savayasam pulair avarta. Avaniha sakrit karin parisara. Rajasya priye sutastava krita tatayatya haha pasya netrani naha. When Krishna was a little grown up and was taking care of his small calf, he would go near the forest. When he was a little bit late returning home, Nanda Maharaj would immediately get up on the candle from the Chandra Shalika, a small shed built on the roof of a getting bird view of the view around. All right, that means they build one kind of a bird view, right? They build some kind of a long distance. You know that sometimes the soldiers will stand there to watch around. So what happened when we would often to go near the forest? When he was a little late coming back home, Nanda Maharaj would immediately get up on the Chandra Shalika. He go to the watchtower and start to see. He would watch for him, worrying about the late arrival of his little son. Nanda Maharaj would remain on the Chandra Shalika until he could indicate that to his wife that Krishna, surrounded by his little coward boys, friends, are coming back with the calf. Nanda Maharaj would point out the peacock feather on his child's head and would inform his beloved wife how the child was pleasing his eyes. Can you imagine such a child around 3 years old? You dare to send them off to the forest. Wow. Anyway, now we go to Paugandam age. Right? He says, Pati surabinam amshu kotangsi murda dvalim ayuk apango mandita kanchukena lagu parigunjan manjira yukmang Brajabuvi mama vatsa kacha desha upai. Mother Yashoda would then address Nanda Maharaj. See, my dear son, whose eyes are white, who has a turban on his head, wrapper on his body, the leg bell, which tinkle very sweetly on his feet. He's coming home, he's coming near, along with Surabhi calves. Just see how he is wandering upon the sacred land of Vrindavan. Similarly, Maharaj Nanda would address his wife. My dear Yashoda, just look at your offspring, Krishna. See his blackish bodily luster, his eyes tinged red color, his broad chest, his nice golden necklace. How wonderful he looks, and how he's increasing my transcendental bliss more and more. When Krishna, the beloved son of Nanda Maharaj, steps into his Kaishora age, although becoming more beautiful, his parents still consider him to be Paukanda age, even though he's between age of 10 to 15. Even he's 10 to 15, but for them he's still a small child. Oh, Kaumara. Sukumarena is beautiful. Pauganda Vayasa Sangato Piaso Kishoraba Sadadasa Visheshanam Prabhasati. When Krishna in the Pauganda age, some of his servants also accept him as being in the Kaishora age. When Krishna performs his childish pastime, his general practice is to break the milk and yogurt pot. Start to valu molachirchi. That means the general practice to break the milk and yogurt pot. Throw the yogurt in the courtyard and steal the cream from the milk. Sometimes he break the churning rod, and sometimes he throw butter on the fire. In this way, he increased the transcendental pleasure of his mother Yashoda. All right. even the naughtiness brings happiness. In this connection, Mother Yashoda once told Mukara, her maidservant, just look at Krishna, looking stealthily toward all sides and slowly stepping forward from the bushes. It appears that he's coming just to steal the butter. Don't expose yourself, or he may understand that we are looking towards him. I want to enjoy the sight of his eyebrow moving in the cunning way, and I want to see his fearful eyes of beautiful face. Right? So they want to catch Krishna right-handed. And he told the Mukara, don't, look stealthy toward all sides, slowly stepping from all bushes. It appears he's coming. He's from the bushes, he's coming just to steal the butter. Don't expose yourself. Don't go. Then you know that you're looking at him. Because the Mother Yashoda says, I want to enjoy that beautiful sight. All right? So I think we better stop here. If not, we cannot stop anymore. It's after that, it's going to be even more this thing. In enjoying. Okay. It's a 346, second paragraph. Okay. So with this, we end the session today. I hope everyone enjoyed, but definitely I enjoyed very much. I'm so grateful to every one of you for joining for this session. As we go on studying, this beautiful nectar of devotion is becoming more and more nectar. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you all very much. We meet again tomorrow at 9:15. Till then, have a nice day. Vancha kalpatarubhescha kripa sindhubhyevacha paditanam pavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai.